Alright folks, I want to talk about something that's been really sort of getting on my nerves of late. And it's this whole, basically, I'm trying to find the best word to describe it. It's this sort of disingenuine celebration of intentionally bad movies. Now, you know me, I'm a huge fan of the exploitation films. I'm a huge fan of the old B films from the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. But today's crop of B movies are quite a different animal from what we grew up with, during the Roger Corman and Lucio Fulci and, degenerate cinema slasher era of the 80s. In the sense that the current B movies, and these are the movies you're seeing on Sci-Fi Channel, like Sharknado and Lava Lantula. Good God, having to say that pains me so much. And of course, all those terrible films that are free on YouTube and on Netflix, like Thanksgiving and The Ginger Dead Man. Oh, God, these movies are just the worst. But anyway, these movies, this is the current crop of what people consider to be B films, or at least B horror. And when you look back at these movies and you compare them to the B movies of yore, I think you're seeing an incredible discrepancy in quality. And here's the thing. When you look at a film like Sharknado, which is this huge Twitter phenomenon, you take a look at The Ginger Dead Man, you take a look at Birdemic, all these other really just god-awful films, they're not meant to be good films. The directors, the producers, the actors go into it knowing that they're producing a subpar offering. There's no intent to make a good film. In fact, they actually relish the fact that they're a substandard product. The dialogue is intentionally awful, the acting is intentionally cheesy, the special effects are intentionally poor, and just the overall product itself is just intentionally bad. Now, the thing is, people are watching these films not because they're actually good or worthwhile, but simply because the producers are taking advantage of a fairly recent chauvinistic sense of displaced pleasure that Generation Y viewers have in watching intentionally bad films. They enjoy celebrating the awfulness before them. They enjoy the sort of reverse transvaluation of good cinema. They like to watch things that are intentionally bad, and they like to intentionally celebrate things that are bad as if they were good, because really they have no standards for what constitutes good cinema anymore. And really, this is sort of a universal thing going on. You see it with obviously stuff like Sharknado, that's the big one. But you're seeing it with Thanksgiving, just people celebrating these things despite their inherent crappiness, simply because it's considered quirky, it's considered cool. They'll talk about it. They just love breaking things down. They love being very venomistic. They love being critical. They love having something to mock and deride and celebrate, not for being something of content or something of subtext or something of substance, but just something that's just blatantly awful that they can falsely celebrate because it gives them some sort of, sort of sense of cultural longing or superiority. I don't know. It's really an argument for an entirely different video. Alas, when you look at these movies, they're clearly just god-awful. There's no real effort. And I think when you look at the B movies of yesteryear, they actually were kind of good considering, the limitations they had. When you go back and you look at the heavy hitters, you look at Ed Wood, you look at Ray Dennis Steckler, you look at all these movies that are considered, pretty much the granddaddies of B genre films. Granted, a lot of times they were bad, they were not very enjoyable, but at least the producers and the developers were trying the best they could with what limited resources they had. They didn't have a lot of money, a lot of them didn't have professional actors. Many times they were working on just incredibly expedited schedules. Like they would have 6 or 7 days to make an entire 120-minute long movie. The special effects budget was non-existent. The script they had was like 3 pages long. So they really just did not have even like the catering budget that you would have today for something like Sharknado. So a lot of times, like I said, movies were oftentimes bad, but a lot of times you also saw the producers combat that with actual, ingenuity. They struck back by having, really creative plots and just hitting you with stuff that you could not do say it wasn't. But at the same time, a lot of times, it was actually just the producers out there getting out there and doing something different and counterculture. I mean, you saw movies like Night of the Living Dead. You saw movies like The Street Fighter. You saw all the great blaxploitation films of the era. They were very highly political at a time when everything else really wasn't. And they had the opportunity to do it because they didn't have a budget. They didn't have those constraints. They had to do something different. And actually making the film sort of subtextual, I think, kind of gave them that edge. So that's why we remember films like Night of the Living Dead and, even some of the Herschel Gordon Lewis movies, but we don't really recall some of the more mainstream offerings from that same time frame. So when you look at even some of the later movie offerings, when you look at The Evil Dead, when you look at Bad Taste, I mean, yeah, they're cheesy, unrepentantly cheesy in a lot of cases. But at the same time, it was obvious that the people who made it, their heart and souls were in it. I mean, they knew they weren't making Schindler's List of The Godfather, but they were still trying to make the best movie they could with what scant resources they had. I think they did a pretty good job. I mean, you look at The Evil Dead, you look at Basket Case, you look at Bloodsucking Freaks, look at all these movies, any of the old Schindler movies, it really is a labor of love. It's people going out there just with that spirit of plucky cinematic independence and trying the best they can to make the best motion picture possible, considering the complete dearth of resources and money and other things that are pretty much givens for higher budget films. And you see that spirit in these movies, you see that playfulness. You see that against the grain mentality. You see that edginess. You see that, for lack of a better term, that spirit of independence resonating through these films. And a lot of these movies, give us something like Meet the Feebles. They might be cheesy, they might be corny, they might be a little rough around the edges, but they're still good films considering, what went into them. Now you compare that to Birdemic or The Room or all this other stuff that's endlessly celebrated simply for being bad. I mean, these movies just flat out suck. The directors had no intentions of making a good film. They just didn't care. All they care about is making something really cheap and cheesy and hoping against hope that somehow it'll become a meme and all of you sad sack millennials who have nothing to believe in just start celebrating it because of, that in-group mentality. And it really irks me because you look at the budget for these movies, I mean, I think it's really possible to make a legitimately great B-movie. I just did a video a couple days ago about Combat Shock. The movie cost $40,000. It's one of the best PTSD films ever made. Another film that came out like in 2004, Primer. One of the best time travel movies ever made. It cost like $1,000. The guys behind it had absolutely no money. They made something incredible, and they did that because they had to. They had to. I mean, they didn't have money, they couldn't do the big special effects, so they had to come back with something completely innovative and a lot of ingenuity and something that was actually cerebral. And I think because of really crappy movies like Sharknado and Lava Lynch is becoming popular, I think we're kind of seeing a trend where the up-and-coming producers today, the guys who could be the next Sam Raimi, the guys who could be the next Peter Jackson, they're not actually out there to make good movies because it doesn't sell. Basically, the way the independent film market works nowadays, because all the films have been atomized and everything's going straight to Netflix, and you really can't show them in theaters, and there are no drive-ins, and straight-to-videos out of the question. Basically, what you do is you make a really cheap movie on the fly that you're not going to make a profit off. In fact, actually, you're going to go in debt to make it. And you put it on Netflix for free or Amazon for free or whatever. Just hope against hope that maybe somebody will like it and it'll get popular and it'll become mimetic. And then maybe, if you're lucky, Sci-Fi Channel might come knocking, or some other crappy, low-level film production firm will come along and say, okay, we'll give you a couple of extra 100,000, maybe like 100,000 to kind of redo this or make it a little bit bigger budget. So basically, that's what's happening. And if the movie you make does not catch on and find an audience, forget it. You're done. You're going into debt. You're going to pay it back the rest of your life. You'll never make a movie ever again. And that's just the nature of the beast. And I think because of that entire production cycle, that's the way the industry works nowadays. We're being robbed of good movies. If you're a young up-and-coming producer and your livelihood basically rests on whether or not this thing becomes mimetic, you're not really going to have much incentive to go out there and make something that's intellectual, that's actually unique, that's different, that's challenging, that's cutting edge, that's political, that's actually saying something. And I mean, you're seeing that really across the board. And we're having really, really, really great movies like part of it. I mean, the film is very well done. I think it's going to be really great pretending work from the director. But, you know, he'll probably never make another big budget movie ever again just because it did not become a manic. It didn't have something goofy for the millennials to latch onto and celebrate in this schadenfreude manner. And we're seeing that across the board. And we're not going to have another Sam Raimi. We're not going to have another Peter Jackson or another Todd Phillips because they're not actually given the market space to actually do something. They don't have the leeway. They don't have the ability to perhaps go out there and make a very experimental film because just the way the production cycle is aimed nowadays prevents them from doing so. So we're being completely just, like I said earlier, we're being denied good films. There's no incentive out there for producers to go out there, young up and coming auteurs, go out there and actually make quality, cutting edge, against the grain, experimental movies anymore. You can't do an Eraserhead nowadays. You can't do a Shaft nowadays. The money's not there. The market's not there. And unless you make a Twitter hashtag out of it, the film production companies aren't going to be there behind you. I mean, Troma is really on death's door. They're about to go bankrupt. Anchor Bay is just barely getting by. They're doing the same crap Sci-Fi Channel's doing. And as a result, we're all hurting. I mean, you may look at this as just me being sort of, you know, sour grapes about the success of like Sharknado, something that's really dumb and stupid with no deeper meaning. But the fact of the matter is, when this stuff becomes popular, when this stuff becomes marketable, when this stuff becomes fashionable, the end result is, especially in today's internet-only market, where there are no drive-ins, there's no grindhouses, there's only one form for you to get your work out there. When this is the only stuff that sells, and it's the only stuff that gets picked up by film companies, we all lose. There's no incentive for who to go out there and actually make, you know, cutting-edge, intellectual films. It's just not financially feasible. Even if you wanted to, even if you had a really great idea that you could do for $50,000, it's still going to get bankrolled unless you go out there and take out a loan yourself. And even then, there's really no guarantee that a film company's going to come along and take it, even if it is good, because guess what? We're not about good movies, we're about Sharknado. We're about, I don't even know the names of those stupid movies. So, just say, that's your culture. You know, when you celebrate stupidity, when you celebrate banality, and you accept substandard products as something worthwhile simply because it behooves some sort of, you know, weird, schadenfreude, Generation Y, ironic disposition you have, it has consequences. You celebrate crap, guess what people give you? Crap, crap, more crap. And by the time you actually want some substance, something contextually relevant, something of social significance, or something that's just a good genre film like The Evil Dead or Dead Alive, and these other great films from the 1980s that would never be made nowadays, you're not going to have that option. And you're not going to have that option because you voted with your wallet book, you voted with your hashtags, you voted with your Facebook posts. Nowadays, we don't want Dawn of the Dead, we don't want Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we don't want Eraserhead, we don't want Shaft, we don't want Superfly, we want Sharknado, and unfortunately, because we've gotten this far, that's all we're going to get for the long-term future. I'm not saying it's killed the independent film altogether, or it's especially killed the independent B film, but at this point, it's pretty much killed